Hey friends, it's Jen from Mindful Journaling. Welcome to my first video of the year, my yearly setup for 2020. For those of you who have already started your setup, props to you, you're on a roll. For those of you joining today, looking to start today or sometime in the future, props to you too, because you know what? We all start from somewhere, and what better time to begin than now? So this video is more of a plan with me, come hang out and chill with me kind of video. So you can go ahead and either grab your journal and pen or some tea, coffee, snacks, or just let's hang out. As you might be able to tell from my handle, Mindful Journaling, my personal focus is practicing or trying to practice mindfulness to both myself and others, and also using journaling as a form of self-care to try and better myself as much as I can. Now, it's tough being consistent, journaling every day. We all have those times when we just don't want to journal or write or do anything at all. One of the most important things is to realize that it's okay to take time away from journaling and focus on recharging and taking care of yourself. I think so many people get frustrated and overwhelmed trying to keep up with spreads and different layouts. If that tracker spread is bringing you more stress than value, maybe that's not the right spread for you. And that's fine. There's different spreads that work for different people. And I think it's great to experiment. There's a lot of fun, trending designs out on Instagram, Pinterest, etc. It's just nice to keep in mind that while some are fabulous ideas, others might just be highly aesthetic and maybe not as realistically functional. So don't be hard on yourself in case one of those ideas, trending ideas, doesn't work out for you. It's fine. We're all different. Different things work for different people. So for this video, I'll be doing a couple of different spreads for 2020. That'll include a yearly overview with calendars for all the different months, a future log, and some other additional layouts that I'll be using to track my goals and different milestones. For the most part, I like keeping things as simple as possible in my journal. I feel like more minimalistic layouts tend to help with setup time and maintenance time as well for different spreads. I've been really into just plain black and white layouts lately, sometimes with a pop of color, but usually all you need to do is just have a writing utensil and paper, and you're good to go for journaling. I am not an artist or a doodler by any means. Now and then I do like to add little embellishments or extra detail just to spruce up a spread a little bit, add some flavor. Like these little leaves on the 2020 letters, for example. They're very simple to do and add a nice decorative element to the page. So right now I'm using a purple mild liner to highlight some of the different weekly elements of each month. This is my pop of color for my spread. A helpful tip for new journalers is to always start with pencil on your paper before using pen. One of the reasons is to avoid mistakes. In case you get the spacing wrong, in case you misspell something, you're able to correct that right away in pencil before it's kind of tougher to do so. In case you do start with pen, there's always whiteout and white gel pens that you can try to cover up, but I personally have a pet peeve of having that, I guess, off-white look on my page, since not all pages are pure white. Sometimes my whiteout just looks glaring to me, so I prefer to try to avoid all mistakes at first if possible. Like I mentioned before, the purple is my pop of color for this spread, and it's also where I'll be writing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday on every, header of every calendar month. One of my favorite hacks to prevent smearing or smudging of ink is to use Post-it notes. So I like to layer Post-its over any place that I've just written in ink, just so there's something flat against it and my hand won't swipe over it and smear the ink all over the page, all over my hand, making a mess everywhere. Nope, no sirree, not today. We ain't dealing with that. So a helpful tip for newbies especially. Try this out. It doesn't have to be a sticky note. It can be just another piece of paper that won't slide around or move around as you're writing on top of it or close to it. So something I like to do when I'm doing very redundant spreads, by that I mean spreads that have a lot of individual numbering that you have to do, especially for calendars or habit trackers, anything to do with numbering or very repetitive, is to play something in the background, like a movie, a TV show, a YouTube video, or even some music just to liven things up. It definitely makes numbering or working on a spread less stressful or frustrating, and it's nice being able to unwind and relax with something that I've been wanting to watch. So, pro tip in case you do get frustrated the same way that I think a lot of us do when doing a lot of numbering or repetitive work for a spread. So again, as you can see, I'm using sticky notes to help prevent any smudging, since I just wrote out the headers for my calendars. Don't want to mess those up at all at this point. So sticky notes, super helpful. I like to rest my wrist on the paper sometimes when I'm writing, so definitely as I'm moving across the page, I don't want to smear any of the ink or get ink on my hand and then drag that all over the page and mess things up. So yeah, definitely. I think at this point I was on a Harry Potter marathon, so if you're looking to rewatch any shows or binge watch anything, this is the time to do it. Isn't it so satisfying seeing all the little months written out, all neat and tidy? I feel like there's such a great satisfaction after going through the process of numbering out so many dates and finally seeing your finished product at the end. Definitely is a rewarding experience, even though it is quite tedious to get there. And voila, my completed 2020 year at a glance. And here we are, sticky notes on so that we don't transfer any of the ink over. And now we are starting our future log. So here you'll see that I'm combining my future log months all across one spread, so across 2 open pages. So I'm going ahead and labeling each month across the top of the half of a page. So the left side will have 3 different months at the top and 3 months at the bottom, and the right side will have 3 months at the top and 3 months at the bottom. So I'm basically splitting it 6 months to each side. And you'll see that I'm doing this horizontally, so I'm going January, February, March, April, May, June across the top, then continuing July through December for the bottom half of the spread. And again, I'm using my purple mild liner. It's such a lovely, lovely marker and color to highlight my Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday weekly header labels at the top, just to add a pop of color again. I also love purple so much. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always go back and fix it with the marker if you make any mistakes. So, as I mentioned, I'm now going ahead and headering each one of the months. I think it looks quite nice, very tidy and clean looking, so mimicking the same design that I did on the previous spread for the year at a glance. So again, I'm writing out all the numbers of the month at the top of the spread. And so basically I'll be using the top half as a reference to the days of the month, and then I'll be utilizing the bottom section right under each month to list out any important dates that I have, such as days off that I have from work. So that could include holidays that you have off from work or school, any important dates you want to remember, like birthdays, special events, special occasions that are important to you, your family, and friends. This is the place to write it all out just so you can have a good place to refer back throughout the year to get a quick glance at what's coming up in the month that you should be aware of and mindful of for the future. So I think this is a very helpful spread. I know some people like to draw it out across more pages as well, but for me, this is enough space, so I'm just going to go along with 2 pages. So again, sticky notes so that I don't mess up any of the ink and don't smudge anything as I'm working on the other side of the page. Okay, so now we are moving on to my 2020 goals spread. So I'm doing a 2-page spread. On the left side, I'm doing my overview of my year goals, and I'm going to break them down into different categories. So if you also look at my Instagram, you'll notice that I've been doing this basically every year. And I found the formatting to be super helpful and the categorization to be super helpful. So for example, I break down my categories into 8 different ones every year. Of course, the ones that you might choose to do will vary, or you can do similar ones to mine as well. Usually every year, I have categories in adventures, creativity, community, education, finances, health, self-growth, and social development. So these are mostly the big picture categories that I usually want to do something to improve myself in throughout the whole year. And if you want to see examples of things that I've written in the past, then definitely go check out my Instagram feed. I believe I have a couple posts showing my yearly goals spread, and I'll be hopefully posting my 2021 all filled out soon as well. So as you can see, I usually go for a very simple, minimalistic layout. I just do boxes and then put headers with the category name at the top of the box. Just to make it a little bit cutesy, I go for a simple design where I try to make each box look like a hanging sign. So I'll add a little dot at the top as a pretend nail in the wall, and then 2 lines down to act as the rope or string where the wooden sign is hanging from. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be wooden, but the sign, where the sign's hanging from, basically. So it looks like little hanging categorical signs listing my 2020 goals. I just thought it looked kind of cute, so I've been sticking with it. It's been a fun layout. I've done different ones in the past too, but I think this one's just something nice to look at, and I really like it, so I'm doing it again this year. Super simple. All you need is a ruler and you're all set. So depending on you, if you like it more simple, you can definitely just do boxes, or no boxes if you prefer. If you want to embellish it a little bit more, you can feel free to add colors, add more details to each section as you see fit. I sometimes like to add a drop shadow at the bottom and side of a sign just to add some dimension to the look as well. Okay, so now I am adding those headers that I mentioned before to you about the categories. So again, the ones that I'm doing this year are adventures. So that means like any traveling I want to do. A big one that I usually like to put on adventures is going to visit more national parks. Definitely love hiking and incorporating nature into my life. So I try to make that a goal to go out more and enjoy being out in the wilderness. For creativity, that's anything artistic. It might be related to bujo work, my journaling work, doing photography, trying to do some arts and crafts work too. For community, usually that's volunteering, anything volunteering, making a difference or impact in my community. For education, that's usually anything with my schoolwork or educational academic work. For finances, of course, that's like saving more, spending not as much. For health, mostly exercise, which I am not as on top of as I'd like to be. So definitely I'd like to exercise more, eat healthier, drink more water, which that's something I'm really pretty bad at. So for self-growth, that's anything educational, I guess, in terms of being more mindful, compassionate, more of becoming a better person or being a better human in general. And for social development, that's just looking to increase and improve the quality of my interactions with other people. So whether that's try to go network or socialize at least twice per month, anything like that, especially since I am more of an introverted person. Anyways, moving on to the other side, the right side of this spread is my monthly goals and milestones page. So this is one of my favorite spreads of my journal. I like to basically designate spots for every month where I write down what I'd like to focus on specifically for that month. So just pick one thing, doesn't have to be too detailed or nuanced. It can just be like something as simple as I want to get better at calligraphy by watching videos or whatever. So improved calligraphy isn't a good example. And at the end of the month, I'll also come back to this spread to jot down my monthly milestone. So that doesn't have to relate to the monthly focus at all necessarily. It can if you want. But for me, sometimes that's my milestone might be something like doing really well in my biology class, or getting a work promotion, or adopting a puppy. Anything that you think is a wonderful highlight of the month that you'd like to remember and look back upon. I think it can get so easy sometimes to forget about our achievements in our lives. It can be so easy to focus on all the negativity, all the stress, everything bad going on. So I think it's a good exercise just to take some time and think and kind of look towards the good times and the highlights of every month, just to remember and say like, wow, look what I've accomplished every month over the year. And to keep in mind, the milestones don't have to be anything big. It could be like, I got better at cooking at home more, or exercising more, or drinking water more consistently throughout the entire month. Anything really. Okay, so you might think, based off my pencil marks, that this spread might be a little bit more detailed and a little bit intimidating. Don't be scared. I basically try to keep it a little bit simplistic, I guess. The main idea is that there's a section for each month, and I just added some cursive at the bottom just to make it look a little cooler. And something that I like to do, at least for this spread in particular, is to make it a little bit different. And I like making each month look like a little animal. If you go look at my Instagram page or Instagram post for the same spread last year, I did a spread of cute little kitty cats. So 12 cool cats of all different designs and styles for every month. This year I thought I'd change it up by doing different animals for every month. I kind of just picked them randomly and chose animals that I thought were easier to draw, if they're just like little eyes and a beak, or eyes and a cute little bear nose, or puppy ears, bunny ears, something really simplistic so I don't have to add too much detail, because I'm not really great at realistic drawing or super detailed drawings, so I wanted to keep it a little bit more minimalistic. That way there's just a little face at the top that looks cute, and then there's plenty of room for you to write down that focus and milestone per month. Yeah, so in case I didn't mention yet, a new beginner tip to journaling is definitely to pencil in your ideas for a spread first, just so you can at least get an idea of what your design will look like on paper. In case you don't like it, you can always erase and mess around with it a little bit more. And then once you're happy with a design, then you can go back in with pen to make that design permanent. So that's something that I still find helpful too. I definitely am not great at freehanding, so I like to at least be able to plot out where I want what on the page, in case, like, I definitely want to avoid the issue of running out of space because I didn't count the boxes, dot grids correctly, or anything like that. So a little bit of pre-planning is always nice to do. Yeah, so definitely, like, I did take some time on a scratch piece of paper to think about what kinds of different animals I wanted to draw. Kept it very basic, I guess. So there's like birds, for a little bird for January, a little teddy bear for February, just because I thought, like, oh, well, Valentine's Day is February and there's like cute little teddy bears everywhere. Let's just do a bear. For March, I did a puppy. I don't really know why. Puppies are cute. April, I did a little duck because I thought April showers bring May flowers, and ducks like hanging out in the rain, so there's a duck for you. And then for May, I did a bunny. At least I hope it looks like a bunny to you too. I tried. A bunny because May is when I think it's more, or basically when it transitions more from winter to spring. After all the rain, heavy rains too, you see more baby animals start to come out with their families. So bunnies are cute. Love seeing them around in backyards and such. For June, I did a little pig, or a little piglet. I don't know, I just thought, like, during summertime, pigs are going to sit out in the sun and eat all the acorns and nuts and grass and whatever else they do, or at least for free-range pigs. Okay. For July, I did a little tiger cat, just because, I don't know, I like cats a lot and I just wanted to add some variations of cats. So I did a tiger this time for July because rah, it's super hot during July. So and then for August, I tried to go for a mouse for August. I'm not sure if you can really tell a difference. I feel like I still confuse myself when I go back and look at my little character for August. Sometimes looks like a bear, sometimes looks like a mouse, sometimes it looks like a, I don't know, chinchilla, who knows. Still a cute character. Yeah, so if you're super confident about your shapes, feel free to freehand. I prefer my edges a little bit cleaner and neater and straighter, so that's why I like using a ruler. But it's definitely up to you, your preferred style. For September, I did a little woodland fox, just because foxes are cute, and I used to have a little Sheltie puppy or Sheltie dog that looked like a fox. Anyway, moving on to October. October is one of my favorite months, so I put a cat there because I like cute little cats. And then for November, I did another bear just because it's starting to go into winter time, and November's the time where we start getting all cozy and ready for the holidays, for fooding season and hibernation season and bundling up and being cozy season. So that's why I put a bear. I guess you could also think of it, maybe it's a polar bear, who knows, it's just a cute bear. And then for December, I decided to add a little penguin just because it's December, snow, ice, penguins are cute. Yeah, I think I tried to kind of make some sense of, or some like relationship of the animal I chose with the month. Feel free to do whatever you like though. I just came up with these randomly and based off of what I thought would be simplest to draw for me. If you have different ideas, definitely go for it. If you like the cute, cool cats idea, definitely go back to my Insta page and go look at that post. I know that a lot of people have really loved it and thought it was a super cute spread that's not too difficult to replicate. So if you do replicate it, please definitely go ahead and tag me too so I can see your recreation. Yeah, and in case you find the cursive a bit hard to read, feel free to just use normal font or normal lettering, whatever you think is more legible. Okay, so here it is, the final finished product of our 2020 goals, monthly goals, and milestone spread. I think it looks fantastic, very organized and clean looking. So now I'm also going to share with you how I clean up, get rid of all the pencil marks. So definitely please wait until your ink is absolutely dry. Especially if you're using a gel ink that smears so easily. Make sure that if you're looking down at the paper, there's no shininess, no wetness on the page where you've just written. Highly recommend giving it at least a few minutes to settle down and dry out. Otherwise, if you go ahead and try to erase, you're gonna make a huge mess. So please do yourself a favor, wait, and then erase, and then brush off, and then you're all set. As you can see, I also forgot to do some whiskers for some of my animals, so adding that to the tiger, my little mouse, and my October cat. And voila, the actual finished product. Okay, so since I'm going to do a spread on the next page, I go ahead and put sticky notes so there's no ink transference. And for this particular spread, this will be my planning wishes into goals spread. So I don't think many people make spreads like these. For this particular spread, this is how I kind of action plan things that I would like to do into things that are very actionable. So for example, if I say I have a generic wish that, hey, I want to learn calligraphy, but I don't know where to start. So in order to make this wish into a goal, then I want to think of the wish I have and think about what different kinds of blockers or challenges stand in my way of accomplishing that goal. So in the case of learning calligraphy, my blocker is that I lack the knowledge of knowing how to do calligraphy. So that's definitely something big. If you don't know how to do it, then you can't really effectively do it, right? So that's my challenge. And then for my solution, I try to think up of key action ideas, action items for me to do in order to work on achieving that goal, or wish to goal. So as soon as I figure out a game plan for achieving that wish, then that's when the wish becomes a goal, because you've planned a more realistic action item. You're actually doing something to progress that from just a mere wish or idea in your head into something more substantial. So I really like this exercise. It's not something that I do all the time, but I do think it's great just to take ideas that you have floating around in your head that you always say to yourself, like, oh, I wish that I was better at XYZ, and actually planning that out and trying to make those dreams into reality. So these can be super long-term goals, they can be short-term goals. Last year I tried making this spread with short-term goals on one side and long-term goals on the other. So for example, long-term goals might be saving up for a house, a home I'd like in the future. So saving up definitely takes a lot of time, so that's not something that you can do quickly within just a few weeks or a few months. Takes time to get there, so that's a long-term goal. Versus a short-term goal might be to do well on my exam next week. Think about the blockers that I haven't studied yet, and what solution or action items you will do in order to achieve that goal of doing well next week. So that could be study every day for at least an hour, do practice quizzes, study with flashcards, study with a friend on every other day. There's so many solutions out there. It's just merely listing them out just to make it more solidified on paper. Because when you think about something in your head, it's very different than making it concrete down on paper. I think that's when things kind of manifest themselves too for yourself. So as you can see on my spread, I'm writing down what my wish is, what the blockers are for that wish, or what blockers there are for accomplishing that wish, and what solution I have in order to turn that wish into an actual goal that I'm going for this year. So yeah, this is a very simple spread. I just did a header, planning wishes into goals, and then I just have the 3 different sections on both sides. So same thing, what, blockers, and solution, for me to just note down different things I want to accomplish and achieve, and making them a little bit more realistic and down to earth for myself. Would you guys use this spread? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so really quick flip through of what I have so far for 2020. So I have the yearly calendar overview, the future log, my 2020 goals, monthly goals and milestones spread, and lastly, my planning wishes into goals spread. Will you be using any of these spreads in your journal this year? Let me know in the comments below, and I'm still very new at YouTube, so if you have any comments, suggestions for how I can make my videos better, my content better, what things you like to see in the future, please let me know. If you saw or heard anything that you liked, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, reach out to me on Instagram. I love talking to people about journaling and life in general, so thanks for all your support, and I'll see you in the next video.